Good day, everyone, and welcome to the pre-recorded orientation for the Prepare Experiential Learning Online Navigator, RFP. My name is Julissa Disu, and I am the Director of Youth Career Readiness Programs here at the Rhode Island Governor's Workforce Board. So today we're going to provide you with an overview of the solicitation. We're going to review the award information, major project elements, proposal submission format, and the evaluation and selection process. Prior to diving into the overview of the RFP, I wanted to provide some context around Prepare RI and the statewide initiative that is the foundation of this work. So Prepare RI is an initiative to prepare all Rhode Island youth with the skills they need for jobs that pay. It is one of the most ambitious plans, in the nation to provide youth career readiness, and it represents a strategic partnership between the Rhode Island government, private industry leaders, the public education system, universities, and nonprofits across the state. Prepare RI launched in January of 2017 with a $2 million New Skills for Youth grant from JP Morgan Chase, and Rhode Island was one of the only 10 states to win this grant. The initiative is also built on the belief that all students should be prepared for success in college and/or career. It's not an either-or choice. Students should be prepared for both so they can make an authentic, well-informed choice between entering the post-secondary pathway or career of their choice upon graduation from the K-12 system. Prepare RI is an initiative that focuses on young people in Rhode Island ages 11 to 24 years old. It also benefits our students' businesses and economy. So for students, Prepare Rhode Island aims to close the gap between what they learn in school and what they need for in-demand jobs. The initiative was built on the belief that all young people, regardless of their background or intended career, will need some form of post-secondary credential and work experience to be successful. And for businesses, Prepare RI ensures that employers have the workforce they require to thrive in the economy of tomorrow. So now we're going to dive into an overview of the RFP and what it entails and what the Governor's Workforce Board is currently looking for. So we're soliciting proposals to identify a qualified organization to serve in an intermediary capacity to support career exploration, work-based learning, and academic readiness support through the development and maintenance of an online platform and concierge service. The intermediary will support critical state efforts, including Prepare RI, and will work with the Prepare RI core team to facilitate connections between schools in the K-12 system, youth-serving community-based organizations, and Rhode Island employers and industry-related groups. This RFP was developed in collaboration with key stakeholders and the state agencies and boards responsible for administering these efforts through Prepare RI, including the Department of Labor and Training, the Rhode Island Department of Education, the Office of the Post-Secondary Education Commissioner, and Commerce Rhode Island. Each of these partners has committed to supporting this initiative through the Governor's Workforce Board. So as the intermediary, if you are selected, you will have 4 distinct objectives. The first is to build out, maintain, and support an online platform using a domain provided by the Governor's Workforce Board. The second objective is to promote the platform and the services that the intermediary will provide among the following groups of stakeholders: employers and industry associations, organizations with high-quality career exploration and work-based learning offerings, and K-12 schools and youth-serving community-based organizations, targeting educators, counselors, and administrators. The third objective is that the intermediary will act as a concierge/coordinator for schools and community-based organizations that wish to pursue opportunities offered by employers and respond to general questions and inquiries from stakeholders. And lastly, the fourth objective is that the intermediary will regularly check in with the Governor's Workforce Board and the Prepare Core team to support statewide career exploration, work-based learning, and academic readiness goals and initiatives. Please note that the intermediary will collect, vet, post, and promote high-quality career exploration, work-based learning, and academic readiness support programs and opportunities. The development of new curricula is not part of the scope of work. Applicants are asked to propose a plan to implement the platform and execute the role of intermediary for this effort. So now we're going to dive a little bit into the award information. We're going to talk about eligibility, major project elements, and then the proposal submission format, and evaluation and selection process. So the first is the timeline. This is the current timeline that we have set for the solicitation. So we released it on April 8th. Today is the pre-recorded solicitation conference. So hopefully you will have had a chance to have viewed this. The deadline to ask any questions to clarify anything in the solicitation is May 13th. After that, we are no longer able to communicate with the applicant regarding any questions they may have. And the proposal due date for the solicitation is May 20th, and then grants will be announced in June of 2024. So who is eligible to apply? We are inviting community-based organizations, private nonprofit agencies, or other entities based in Rhode Island that meet the following criteria to apply. Entities with strong record of engagement and established relationships with a variety of K-12 schools in the state of Rhode Island. Entities with strong record of engagement and established relationships with a wide variety of local employers. Entities with a working knowledge of state-sponsored career exploration, work-based learning, and academic readiness efforts, and entities with the administrative and fiscal capacity to administer award funds, report on project performance, and regularly check in with the Governor's Workforce Board staff and Prepare partner agencies as needed. The applicant will also serve as the fiscal agent for the award, as well as the lead contact and administrator for all award-related activities if selected. The total available funding for this initiative for year one, so July 1, 2024 to June 30th of 2025, is $300,000. One awardee will be identified through this competitive solicitation process, and the award is subject to the availability of funds and the execution of a contract between the selected recipient and the Governor's Workforce Board. Now we're going to transition into major project elements, so the scope of work. The intermediary is going to work, as we've mentioned, with the GWB, the Prepare Core team, to create and maintain a platform and service that will provide educators and counselors in K-12 schools and CBOs with standardized and equitable access to information on high-quality career exploration, work-based learning, and academic readiness opportunities for young people. The platform and intermediary will simultaneously help employers and industry partners engage with the K-12 system in a strategic, scaled, and equitable manner. The platform and the intermediary services will specifically target the following stakeholders as a means of reaching and connecting Rhode Island youth to opportunities. So the first is K-12 schools and youth-serving CBOs. The second is employer and other industry organizations, as mentioned. On the screen, you will see critical components for the online platform. The platform should have an educator/counselor-oriented and employer-partner-oriented section. We've provided recommended subcategories and illustrative examples with the understanding that the platform may need to evolve to meet the needs of stakeholders over time. So the first section in blue is career exploration. That is the bulk of this work. So we provided some examples of what we mean by career exploration. Some subcategories that you see there are career-focused field trips and tours, guest speakers and demonstrations, virtual career exploration. So those could be online subscriptions and career-focused enrichment. The second piece of this platform would be focused on work-based learning opportunities. So as you see in the pink section, things like internship opportunities, and underneath each subcategory, again, are examples of what we mean by that. These are not exhaustive lists by any means, by the way. These are just examples that we've provided to get your ideas going. And then other project opportunities with employers and from other vetted organizations. And then the last section in red is academic readiness support. So these essentially would be opportunities for the selected intermediary to have small sections with links that already lead to these websites that have been fully developed. We wanted to make sure that we had additional information and access to these programs in a variety of locations so that there are multiple ways for you to find said information for said programs. So then what we did is we prioritized the critical components of this work and the workload, and we've separated it into 3 sections. So again, priority number 1 is career exploration. I would say that the anticipated workload for that portion of this project is the highest. The second priority is work-based learning, and then the third is academic readiness. In the middle, you'll see what the intermediary's role would be. And if you have any questions in addition to what is here, please let us know and we'll be happy to clarify anything with you prior to the Q&A deadline. Here are the proposed performance milestones for the first year of this work. So proposals should be developed with an eye toward the following desired project timeline and milestones, with the notion, with the exception that we understand that this is a project that will be evolving over time. And ideally, we would like to stick to this timeline initially. It is an ambitious timeline, and we want to have at least something up and going by January 1st of 2025. Not with the understanding that this platform will continue to evolve over time to meet the needs of our employers and our stakeholders. So ideally from July 1st, which is the start of the contract, to the end of this year, December 31st of 2024, the intermediary that is selected will consult with educators, community-based organizations, and employers to determine how to make the online platform and intermediary services as user-friendly as possible. We want them to build out the online platform with input from the Prepare core team, inventory existing programs with the core team to serve as the initial content for the online platform. We recognize that there is a lot that already exists in Rhode Island, and there is really, really good work happening in this space. And so we want to make sure that we leverage that. And then begin cultivating career exploration opportunities through outreach to organizations and employers. Then in January of 2025, the goal is that the online platform goes live and is ready for the online submission of opportunities from employers and other organizations, as well as requests or inquiries from schools and CBOs. And then for the remainder of this first year, so from January to June, the hope is that we will actively promote the platform and the intermediary services amongst the following stakeholders with an eye toward equity and high priority occupational areas with input from the Prepare core team, which are the K-12 schools and CBOs, employers and industry associations, and organizations that offer high quality career exploration and work-based learning opportunities. So that is the goal for year 2, but at least for year 1, what we would like to see is something up and running by January 1st of 2025. And all of this work is subject to change. So the selected intermediary will actively promote the platform to achieve widespread utilization by continuously engaging with the following groups of stakeholders, as I've mentioned. The goal over time is to have all schools and CBOs educated on the existence of this platform. We want everyone to be able to access this. We want at least all of our schools to know that it exists, to build that awareness around a service and a resource that is available to them when it is connected to career exploration and work-based learning. As you can see on the screen, there are additional goals for the selected intermediary. And again, all of this is subject to change. We did want to start small. If we are able to exceed these targets, that's even better. Again, the whole purpose is to make sure that we are doing this right and doing it with intention and with strategy, and making sure that we are being communicative and responsive, again, to the needs of our schools and our community-based organizations, and importantly, our employers. So lastly, we're going to talk about the proposal submission format. This is the scoring rubric that we currently have outlined for the solicitation. So aside from the implementation plan and timeline section, each section is valued at 10 points. You have the opportunity to score overall total of 100 points. So for the mission alignment, the question there, or what you will do as the applicant, is to explain why your organization is a good choice to serve as an intermediary for the things that I've mentioned: career exploration, work-based learning, and academic readiness. You're also going to talk about how your organization's mission correlates with this scope of responsibilities. And we'd also like you to provide insights into any prior experience managing or implementing similar initiatives, furnishing examples where applicable. The second section is experience engaging with employers. This is where you will talk about how or why you are suited to the task of engaging with a wide range of employers and industry-related organizations. You'll have the opportunity to talk about any prior relevant experience that your organization has and what types of outcomes were achieved. The next section is experience engaging with K-12 schools and CBOs, which is very, very important and crucial to this work. So you're going to talk about how or why your organization is suited to the task of engaging with K-12 schools and youth serving CBOs across the state, what prior experience you have, and what type of outcomes were achieved. The next section is experience collaborating with government entities. So here you will explain whether your organization has recent experience collaborating with government entities to execute a project or initiative, and again, describe the outcome. The next section is experience with the platform development. So here you will describe any experience that your organization has in the development of websites and platforms, and you're going to talk through what the end results were. And we've also asked if the same individuals would be involved in this project, in terms of the individuals that were involved in those previous projects that you'll describe. The next section is implementation plan and timeline. So here you're going to outline your proposed project implementation plan and timeline. And again, in such essential components do include your strategy around employer and industry engagement, your strategy around engaging our schools and our youth serving CBOs, platform recommendations, a detailed project timeline, and then continuous improvement strategy. So here's where we really want you to outline how you plan on carrying this work out, what your strategy will be to engage these different entities to make sure that this is a successful project. The next section will talk about project staffing. So we want to know who's going to be on this project. You're going to outline the roles and responsibilities of the staff that are involved. And if you plan on recruiting staff for this project, please explain to us what that recruitment plan will look like. And if staff already employed by the organization will be utilized, please identify them and articulate the relevant experience that they possess. If any independent contractors or other entities or parties are to be utilized or compensated for work on this project in any capacity, that also must be explained within your RFP. And then the next section is organizational, administrative, and fiscal capacity. So just letting us know what your capacity is to effectively manage these funds, track expenditures, and fulfill fiscal and performance related reporting requirements. And then the last section is your budget and your budget narrative. So in your budget and your budget narrative, you're going to provide a brief description of each budget item and what role the item will play in the execution of the grant in your narrative. And then you're just going to outline what dollar amount will be for each of those line items. So there is an appendix attachment when you go on our website. You'll see all of the attachments listed and you can download that and be sure to include that in your application. Some other documents that we'll be looking for are your taxation letter of good standing, a fiscal assurance form, which is Appendix B, and then a copy of your W-9 taxation form, which is Appendix C. You can download that online. Lastly, we're going to cover the evaluation and selection process. So initially, internal Governor's Workforce Board staff will perform a screening of the applications to ensure that submission requirements were met and that all required sections were included. Then an evaluation committee consisting of members of the Prepare core team will review and score your proposals. If necessary, we will request an oral presentation of your proposal just to clarify any content in your proposed plan that might not have been as clear to us. The final selection of the award recipient will be at the discretion of the GWB Executive Director, Alyssa Alvarado, in consideration of the recommendations made by the Evaluation Committee. As I mentioned in the beginning, all proposals are due May 20th, no later than 4 p.m. Late submissions will be denied. Please adhere to that deadline. All proposals must also be submitted in PDF format electronically to me via email. The budget narrative, and other attachments must either be contained within the primary PDF document or included in the same email as separate attachments if needed. When you are submitting your application, please use PRI, Experiential Learning Online Navigator Proposal, as the subject of your email so that I can easily identify that that's what it is. And that is all I have for you today. So if you have any questions, again, my name is Julissa Disu. Please reach out. My work number and work cell number are there. That is my email. If you have any questions, you have until May 13th. Yep, May 13th to get your questions in. And in the meantime, best of luck and look forward to reading your proposal.